All right, welcome to another edition of Get Busy with Kit and Jim. And this week we have Kit and we have Jim and Nora and Copeland. The whole gang is here, so we are super excited. We're super excited to be here. So the topic this week is the power of you. And actually, it's probably the most important aspect of success in life and business, is being in touch with who you are, making sure that first and foremost you take care of yourself. This week we're geeking out over our guests Nora Whalen and Copeland Richards. So a brief little intro here is, you know what? It's really super important to love what you do and do what you love. Don't listen to anyone else who tells you not to do it. You do what you want to do what you love. Imagination should be the center of your life, as quoted by Bradbury. I think those are great words to live by. Our esteemed guests this week are sure that everything good and beautiful in life begins with you. In order to be empathetic, to be kind, to be gentle and loving towards others, it starts with you. You have to be empathetic and kind and loving to yourself first. And Copeland has a saying, unlocking my heart space and loving myself infinitely, I'm now able to identify all the beauty in myself and what makes it easier to see the beauty in others. So we're super glad to have Nora and Copeland with us here today. And of course, Kit, always glad to have you by my side. I couldn't do it without you. So first and foremost, how's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
I'm awesome.
I'm doing all right. I'm trying out a new hairstyle, and I'm really conscious about it. So.
Looks great.
It does.
Awesome. So, yeah, maybe.
Well, I'll just say thank you. Thank you both of you for having us here today.
Oh yeah, you know it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So, Nora, I want to start out by asking you, and then I'll follow up with Copeland. What is it that drives you to do what you do every day?
There is just an internal passion and a love of life and the desire to make every step of this journey as fun as possible.
Cool. Copeland, the same thing. The same question to you. What is it that drives you to get up in the morning? I know you just barely got up this morning.
To be honest, I really don't know what it is that wakes me up every morning, but I get up every morning.
That was me.
And, like I have no clue. But I know the thing that keeps me going once I woke up is the fact that, luckily for me, I get surrounded by awesome people all the time, and my desire to help them become more awesome really stems from a selfish desire to always want front row tickets. So I feel like I meet these awesome people, we walk a little bit on the journey, we become friends, we develop relationships, and then Copeland's in VIP.
Nice. I like that. Copeland's a VIP.
Yeah, and consequently, we are VIPs too, so by association.
Yeah, see? That just happens to be the way that it works. The thing that I love is transformation and growth and beauty. And the beautiful thing about it is it seems to always come at the same time. Like, it all mirrors the butterfly, nice little fat caterpillar. And then it transforms into this beautiful butterfly that actually means nothing until it dies,
Right, yeah. I agree with you, Copeland. I love living vicariously through other people because, you know what, we all have things that we're good at, we all have things that we're not so good at. And I love living vicariously through people who are great at areas where I'm not so good at, do you know what I mean? Because then I can learn a lot from them. And I get to experience things that I normally wouldn't get to experience myself. So I'm down with you guys.
Well, no question. And surrounding yourself with the strengths of others gets you to experience and enjoy things that you would never be able to otherwise.
Yeah, totally. Because I'm very left-brained, so I'm really organized and structured, and a lot of my clients are right-brained, like in the arts and in the creative sense. And so I get to, because I'm not good in those areas, I get to, I get to participate in their world kind of through my eyes. I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
It makes complete sense.
Yes, I remember, I think it was Nora who said this, I think it was Lainey's show, Those Four Girls, it was last week, and she said, when you surround yourself with people that you look up to, you tend to emulate some of their strengths, and you benefit from those strengths, and you start seeing those strengths within you. So you become a better person just by collaborating with people you admire. That kind of made a lot of sense to me.
Well, I believe that, I personally believe that we're all connected. So it's almost like to say that we're learning and living vicariously through somebody is something that we learn, when in all actuality, everybody's experience is really everybody's experience. Like the things that we do in life are going to affect people all around the world, kind of like the butterfly effect, and every single step that we take. So the things that other people are doing, their strengths that we may look at, things that we're not doing, it's only because like it's one big symphony of life. And you'll have the bass over there, you'll have the drums over there, you'll have the woodwinds over there, you'll have the brass instruments over there, but we're all actually working together. So it's not even a matter of strengths and weaknesses, it's just a matter of roles that you're going to play. Like some people are going to have a leading role in one episode, and in another episode it's going to be somebody else having a leading role. And we're all kind of just, playing our parts.
So would you say then that as human beings we are all capable of doing like everything, but we choose to do and play these particular roles? Like, because recently I've been thinking about how, there's really nothing limiting human beings from, unleashing their potential. There's nothing that's limiting us except ourselves. It's our choices and our attitude and our mindset that really sets the tone for our life and sets the roles that we play in our life. So would you say that, as human beings, we really have unlimited power? It's really our limiting beliefs that prevent us from experiencing that.
Hey, Kit, my limiting belief is it's Tuesday morning at 8 and my brain still has yet to wrap around what Copeland said, and he just crawled out of bed. So guys for being so sharp at 8 o'clock in the morning. I just have to say that.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I know that I've spoken about this before, and I speak to this about with my friends all the time. And of course, there's got to be a limit somewhere. I just don't know if we can ever really find it. Like, I truly believe that human beings have unlimited potential and power, and we are limited by our brains. Like, we all have this belief in this thing. Like, it's a really powerful thing in the world, and everybody believes in it. And it's called money. As imaginary as it is, as much as it fluctuates and has no real basis, we all believe in it. I believe that if every single human being on this planet believed, like truly believed, that we could fly, that we would have a whole planet of flying human beings. But it's really our thoughts and what it is that we believe that's going to happen.
Every time I get on Southwest Airlines, I'm really hoping that they know what they're doing about flying from point A to point B, because if not, you know what, I'm in a little bit of trouble.
Very
Luckily,
true.
you've had good pilots.
That's right. Exactly. Yes.
But Copeland, you were really good about stretching people out of their comfort zones and removing their limiting beliefs. And I know that from firsthand experience, where I call you freaked out about something, and you're like, why are you worrying? It'll totally work out. You can do anything you want to do.
Oh, yes. He has that ability. The only time I've actually spoken to Copeland before this was at your place, Nora. You snuck up on me and you connected me with him because, I was feeling awful about something, like I always do. And he just kind of made me smile within like 20 minutes. And for those 20 minutes, I felt like I could do anything in this world. I felt like super powerful. You've got this amazing ability, Copeland, to do that. And even you, Nora, you're so accepting and you are so non-judgmental, and that just makes people want to open up to you. And I'm speaking from experience here. Just texting you or talking to you makes me feel so much better about myself. So that's such a special ability.
Thank you.
Well, it's like it becomes a really beautiful thing, and I know I experience it all the time because Nora, as my co-host on Midday Mojo, like the show would not be going on if it wasn't for Nora and the way that she believed in me, and then literally just threw herself into this project. Like I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have a text message. Like she just had a moment of supreme thought. And this is really the way that I envision the whole world working, where people just end up doing things that they love doing and end up helping other people just in the process of being themselves. Like I benefited from it for a lot of different parts in my life. And looking back, you really start to realize it. And then I guess you kind of realize that the lessons that you were learning, you're only here to help everybody else. Like we're all here to play this one long symphony, we're this orchestra of the planet, and everybody's got to play their parts, but we're not all going to play the same roles. We're just going to play a role.
Well, and thank you. And I would say I just go with the intuition. So if someone crosses my mind, they're usually crossing my mind for a reason, so I reach out to them, and magically, the universe is providing exactly what they need at that moment. So trusting your own intuition and going with the flow.
Yeah, I agree. I want to kind of throw out a little discussion point here. So we're talking about the power of you and getting in touch with yourself. And I want to kind of discuss for a minute what's the difference between narcissism, right, and getting in touch with yourself so that you can be of earthly good to somebody else. So because I think sometimes there's a fine line. I mean, we all have to be better people, we have to be in touch with ourselves and we have to grow ourselves. But when does that branch over into narcissism, and how do you differentiate the two?
Copeland, I'm going to let you field this one because every time I call and ask you how you are, your answer is always awesome, which is true. It's always true. You are awesome. No question, but there's humility. It's not coming from a place of ego or narcissism. So why don't you speak to that?
All right, well, it's actually kind of simple for me. Like, I saw a quote on Facebook that says that I'm smart enough to know that I'm not better than anyone, but wise enough to know that I'm different. And like I've been saying with this symphony, we're all just cells on the planet. We're little tiny cells, each individual person. And we contribute to the overall picture in some way. But even in looking into yourself, and for me, looking into myself, I don't see myself as separate from the rest of the world, from the rest of the universe, from the rest of creation. I'm simply a part of that. And no matter what it is that I do, no matter how great it is that I become, I look outside and I see this tree that's been growing for 30 years. It's never gone anywhere. It's never needed anything. It's gotten everything, and it's participated in this process of creating oxygen for us. So I always look at the tree and it humbles me, because for as much as running around as I've been doing all my life, I've never handled my life as efficiently as this tree does. It receives all the blessings from the universe. It puts it into the soil. It gives us fruit. It gives us oxygen. And all it's doing is standing there. Trees are probably one of the greatest things on the planet. So it's really easy for me to realize how great I am and then still be able to see greatness in everybody else and everything else.
I would say know what your strengths are, use them on a regular basis, and surround yourself with people who are a heck of a lot better than you are at the things that you want to get good at. And I mean, that's what I did with Jessica Jewell. She is amazing. I am in awe of her. Even if she wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning to have meetings with me, her time is like 9 o'clock in the morning my time, and she is on it from the get-go. And like Copeland rolling out of bed this morning, it is absolutely amazing. It raises you to that next bar. Clearly, I'm a night owl, but she's still good at 4 o'clock in the morning too. So there you go. It is. It's surrounding yourself with people that will raise you to that next standard. So you are always humbled by other people's strengths, and focusing on continuing to growth and make yourself better and transform yourself is the way to not be narcissistic.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. What are some tips that you guys have for focusing inward, and why is it so important to focus inward? Right. Why is it so important to take care of you before you try to take care of anybody else? And what are some good ways to do that?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to necessarily take care of yourself before taking care of anybody else, because it all kinds of, like, everything's all connected, so it all kind of happens at the same time. It's more of a lifting as you climb type of thing, or shining as you walk type of thing. Like Nora was saying, I'm horrible at almost everything technical, and anything that has a start time and end time, not really my strength, you know? I exist more in the ish realm. And so she's really helped me with, like, organization and even the desire to be organized. Because I realized that I had no desire to be organized whatsoever. Like, I'm the type that wants to come into my house, you take off your shirt, take off your pants, take off your socks, and anybody can follow you because they're just lying on the floor on your way in. But, you know, I've learned just by, I know the mothers and wives hate that, but I've learned to kind of, you know, put things where they belong. I've learned to get a little bit of organization and the technical aspect of things. Like, you know, I can start to actually really appreciate it. As much of a natural, like, beast boy as I really am.
That's hilarious. I would say that you can't give what you don't have to give, and a lot of people, including myself, need to reframe what self-care is, because in order to give to someone else, in order to have the energy or the love or the whatever, you need to have it to give. So if you have not slept in a really long time, you are not showing up, you can't be fully present, your brain is not working at the capacity that it could be and that you would probably like it to be at. So taking care of yourself physically and mentally and spiritually they all feed into being able to take care of others and taking care of them in a better manner.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that Copeland and you, Nora, what are some of the things that you do on a daily basis to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are your best you, and that you can bring it for you, for your business, and for those people, you know, who are in your life that are important?
Well, for me, meditation, really, really important. I always walk 30 minutes a day and always drink more than enough water and vitamins and that kind of fun stuff. And then there are things that I haven't mastered yet, like getting adequate amount of sleep, eating exactly what I'm supposed to eat. Those are all good, easy things to do, but they're hard to master.
Mm-hmm.
Copeland?
Yeah, well, I mean, I completely agree too. Like, my number one thing is energy conservation. I sleep well. I just go to sleep and I wake up, and when I walk a lot too, but I don't ever rush anywhere. Like, the bus could be coming, and all it would take is like a little quick sprint, and I could catch the bus, and I'll catch the next one. Like, I found that the number one thing for health, the number one detriment to health in America today is stress. We're all stressing over everything, and we put so many little tiny stresses into our lives, like rushing for the bus, or, I mean, as simple as being on time sometimes. Like, as much as I can be on time nowadays, in 2013, I was literally a half an hour late to everything that I ever participated in throughout the whole entire year, except for maybe one event. And all of them went off pretty well. So I don't ever really stress. And that allows me to be able to help people and deal with people in their moments of, I guess, they're a little bit frantic. And then I just bring that calming energy. Like, what's there really to worry about? I mean, are we going to die? And if we are going to die, that's not even really something to worry about, because then we're going back to the creative source. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there really is nothing to worry about.
Or you just surround yourself with people like Copeland, so when you are having those freak out moments and rushing around and acting like a crazy person, you just text or call them, and then it works. It's like magic.
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, one of my friends, I'm really scared of giving interviews and just talking to people. So he texted me one day and he said, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are you going to die? Just exactly what Copeland said. If you're going to die, you're going to die. I mean, there's really nothing bad that can happen. You know, so that automatically just released my stress and I actually got the job. So it was amazing.
That's too funny. I got a speeding ticket once, and it was one of those, like, you had to go to court for speeding.
Oh.
A super ticket. And I had tried calling my dad, who happened to be in Australia, and got one of his associates. And he was like, I was like, I'm in trouble. I'm in so much trouble. He's like, well, are you in the hospital? I was like, nope. He's like, are you pregnant? And I was like, oh, no. He's like, then you're fine. Talk to him tomorrow. I was like, okay. Good mind shift. Like, so that's my general checklist of, am I in the hospital? Nope. Am I pregnant? Nope. Awesome. Life is good.
Yeah, it just kind of puts things into perspective, right?
It does.
Hey, so let's switch gears just a little bit. Well, you know what? I want to go back to something. So, Nora, one of your first jobs out of college was working for Godiva Chocolates. Was that like the total dream job that everyone like pictures it to be?
It was delicious.
I bet.
No question. No, Campbell Soup has a really great company, and it was a lot of fun to learn the marketing side and sales displays, and it was actually in high school still, so I was learning how to interact with all sorts of different people, and it was in Union Station in Washington, D.C. So it was just a really, really fun and unique experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. And the employee discount was really sweet.
Oh, yeah, I bet. So now you're like a chocoholic for life, right?
I think I came out of the womb that way.
But you're kind of spoiled, too, now, though, because now you have to have high-end chocolate, right?
That is true. That is very true.
Oh, yeah. I'm married to a chocoholic, and he orders chocolates in Alaska because he wants the best of the best. So
Nice. I go Belgium, but Belgium chocolate girl.
So, what's your Copeland? What's your favorite decadent food? Since we're on to chocolate and decadent things right now.
Well, I used to be a big fan of bacon, but it's not healthy for you.
Yes, it is.
But it's like the best. It's the best tasting thing on the planet. Like,
No,
absolutely best. It makes everything better.
Yes. So let's have a little discussion about healthy versus tasting good, because I think you need a balance, right? I mean, we're here to live life, to enjoy some things, and I agree 1,000%. We do have to eat healthy, but you know what? Every once in a while, just some good old bacon and beer or whatever it is just makes life like livable, right?
My two favorite things: bacon and beer.
I feel like a big part of our bad health is just the way that the food is treated nowadays. That added to the fact that we're all, like, everybody on the planet is stressed out over something. Like, I feel like part of capitalism is to provide stress so that people will spend money on stress relief. I mean, I give stress relief out for fun and for free. But so it's really, for me, it's just a matter of being stress-free is the number one thing. Like, I put that above diet. Like, you can really eat stuff that's not all that great for you, but if your body has the energy to deal with it, it can. Like, the human body can become such a strong tool, and we look at the things that we can do with our outer body, like lifting weights, running fast, jumping high, but the inside of your body can be made just as strong simply by allowing it to do what it does. Your body is constantly cleaning itself, constantly flushing itself. So if it's only focusing on that and it's not focusing on some fake thing that we create in order to stress on, which is going to cut the body's efficiency in half, You can sneak a little bit of bacon into your diet and be okay.
Nice.
We all have that thing that we need. So it may not physically be the best for you, but mentally or comfort-wise, it could be the absolute thing that you need and crave, and nothing else but bacon will do the trick. So have the bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually in Panda Express they have something called kale chicken or some super healthy food, and the tagline is feed your body. And then they have a dish with bacon and orange chicken, and the tagline is feed your soul. Feed your soul.
Absolutely right.
You know, there really are no good and bad foods if you think about it. My mom always tells me that, you know, they used to have, my grandparents used to have ghee. You know what ghee, right? It's like liquefied butter. So high fat, high caloric. They were fine, you know. Like Copeland said, they were happy, you know. And as long as your body's able to process it, I guess there are really good and bad foods. Everything in moderation.
Yeah. That's the key. Just don't gorge yourself on certain things like chocolate or bacon. Like it's it's good to have. It's a great taste, but just you don't want 2 pounds of chocolate or 3 pounds of bacon. Actually, you might want that, but you shouldn't eat it all in one sitting.
Yes, pace yourself over a period of 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. If you do it over a period of 2 hours, it's all good. Everything is good. It's all fine. No problems. So let's again shift gears a little bit. So well, let's talk a little bit about connecting the dots and what does that really mean to connect the dots. And hey, Kit has a comment.
Yeah, there's.
So Chris, yeah, go ahead.
Where is that? Where'd it go? Yeah.
That was my girl Christine.
What the hell? Yeah. So Christine says, at the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. There's always something to be thankful for. When we live in gratitude, joy flows to us and through us. I thought that was a beautiful comment, which kind of sums up what everyone was saying. So, I think gratitude begets happiness. That's kind of what I've come to realize.
And if all else fails, have a glass of wine. She's a wine girl.
Red wine.
Whatever puts a smile on your face, go for it.
Absolutely.
And Eva says, I'm a tea-holic. Take everything, just leave me my tea.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Hi, Eva. God, I love her.
Hey, so let's talk a little bit about connecting the dots. So what does it mean? What is connecting the dots? What does that really mean?
Well, I mean, for me, it means a whole bunch of different things. Like, I believe that everything is connected, so I believe that the dots are already connected. It's just a matter of seeing the connection.
And how does one go about like seeing what the connection is and what the importance is of connecting, with other people? How do you?
You just have to be patient.
Okay.
If you let's say that question. Nora?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of times we want to know so many different things. Like, before we can see the connection, we're looking for the connection. And as counterintuitive as it is, when you're just so focused on looking for the connection, you stop doing what it was that you were doing to make the connection. So it's almost harder to see that connection. Like, you really just have to be patient and not look for it at all. And eventually the universe makes everything visible to us. So it's just a matter of being able to wait until that connection comes up. Like, sometimes bad things, quote unquote, happen to us. And if we look at it and judge it right there in that moment of how it feels to us, then we're going to say, yeah, this is a bad thing. But then if you really wait and take a step back and look at the grand, bigger picture, you'll see, wow, this bad thing happened to stop me from going and doing something even worse. Like, your car doesn't start in the morning. But then you hear later on that there was this 16 car and truck pileup on the freeway that you always take to work. Like, we look at that car not starting, it's something like you might even kick your car, stub your toe or something on it. But later on you see that this was just the universe working to preserve your existence on the planet for now.
And I would just say sometimes dots are connecting people. Sometimes the dots are connecting resources. Sometimes the dots are connecting goals or strategies. So randomly, I happened to be out at this awesome bar in DC on Saturday and met this fabulous female writer that's all about music in the music industry. So then I could just feed her to the exact person that was looking for that. So it's a matter of just being present, listening, seeing what comes your way, and seeing what similarities there are. It's having conversations with other people, knowing what their needs are, and seeing how you can help plug in the need, whether it's a resource or a connection. And sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you have absolutely no idea why you're connecting two people, but you just feel called to do it, and it can work out, and sometimes it doesn't. And you have to be okay with that too.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. So I believe there's serendipity, but I also think that sometimes you can nudge it along, right? So I believe you have to be proactive. So we're kind of getting into, I think connecting the dots is networking, and you can network your people, you can network your resources, but I think it all kind of comes down to networking, and networking efficiently, and networking with a purpose. And to take this into the business, since this is Get Busy, and it is a show about business, so I want to kind of tie this into maybe not a nice, neat bow, but into some sort of, it can even be a messy bow. Because life, business isn't always, as clean as we'd like it to be. But I want to kind of tie this into a business sensibility. So when you're connecting the dots for the purpose of helping either you or other people in business, why is that important, and how can you be proactive about doing that?
Well, a lot of times people do not see what their strengths or weaknesses are. They do not see where their gifts are, and if you have the ability to shine light on that and empower them to make different choices, it's remarkable what can happen when someone lights up. So that's part of it. Copeland, it looked like you wanted to say something.
Oh, well, I always want to say something, but I just feel like a lot, like what you're saying with the networking is definitely key to everything, because I personally believe that everything is all about relationships, and the more people that you can have that have this relationship and they're actually believing in each other. Like, as a business person, you don't really want to network with people that are just like concerned with the things that you do. Like, you really want to get into networking with people that are thinking the way that you're thinking, and feeling the way that you're feeling, and believing the way that you're believing. And then you'll be able to start seeing dots being connected, like, across industries. Like, you can have a writer and a financial planner who are going to be, who think the same way and see the world in the same light. And even though their industries may be kind of far apart, they'll find some way to bring that together and work together for the better of humanity. If, of course, that's the goal, which I believe that should be every business person's goal, is to better humanity. So there's a lot of things that just happen once you start just being yourself. Like, as a business person, your business should be about something that you love doing, or something that you want to do. It should be something that comes from within. So that way, when you're out and about, it's easy to connect dots and attract people to you, because all you're doing is showing them what you have on the inside.
But,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I'll just tack on, yes, relationships are absolutely important. I think all roads lead to Rome, though. So as long as you show up consistently, you may not know what your ideal job is yet. You may not know what you would love to be doing, and that is totally okay, and I've been there and suffered through many years of that. but you still go to work. You still do the absolute best you could do, maintain those relationships and connections that you make, and then all of a sudden one day you hit the gold mine and you're like, oh, well, I can see this path that I totally thought was a hodgepodge mishmash of I have no idea what, kind of floating from one thing to the other. And it all makes sense. And you can go back to how those dots were connected and the lessons that you learned from everyone that you met along the way. And how you can then pull people together and build this incredible team that you did not even think you would need when you were starting out.
Hey, Nora, I want to go back to something that you talked about, understanding our gifts. So I think part of getting in touch with yourself and really having a good understanding of who you are is not only understanding your strengths and weaknesses, but you mentioned that sometimes the hardest part of understanding ourselves is really understanding our gifts. So I want to talk about that a little bit, understanding our gifts, why sometimes it is so difficult to understand our gifts, and how through building relationships we can either, through our friends or family, get a better understanding of what our gifts are, and then once we understand what they are, then we can take those out into the world and be useful with our gifts.
No question. So there are 2 books that I would suggest. One is Phil Boyer's new book, and in that there is the exercise of asking 5 people around you for 5, what they see as 5 of your strengths and 5 of your weaknesses. Awesome exercise, and I would say don't have it all be business. Have it be a best friend, have it be family, have it be a colleague, have it be an old colleague that you used to work with once upon a time. And sometimes there's an overlap of strengths that, okay, clearly that is the one area that you just excel in, and sometimes there aren't, and you realize that you are awesome at 25 different things, and good on you, you get to choose which one you like to do best. And then the other one is Sally Hogshead, How to Fascinate. So it's, yes, it is about who you are, but sometimes we don't always see ourselves the way we are perceived by others. So looking from the outside in and then recognizing how other people see you and how you show up in the world is another phenomenal trick. So those are 2 book recommendations.
Yeah, could you just put them in the comments list afterwards, Nora? I mean,
I need that.
Yeah, I need to follow up on Phil Bower. His book is released today, or Phil's book released today?
I don't know. I'm on the secret VIP list, so I got an advance copy.
Oh my God.
I don't know when the launch date is.
I need to get in touch with him now.
But yeah, go connect with Phil Boyer so it comes out sooner.
Yes, I'm actually on the show later today, so I have to talk to him.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, but during all this, I think it's important to remember one thing, that when you're forming relationships, to really form relationships with people who are not just yes men, you know what I'm trying to say? Like somebody who's not just a groupie, but somebody who can be objective about your strengths and your weaknesses, and you're connecting with them for the right reasons. Don't just connect with them because they're a big name or because they're influencers or because they're popular. Connect with them because you relate to them in some way. So I think that is kind of very important if you want to have a sustainable relationship. What do you think?
Right. Well, yeah, I agree. From a business standpoint, I mean, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust, right? And so, as we're talking about connecting the dots and building relationships, if you're in business and you want people to do business with you, you're going to have to let them, number one, get to know you, be transparent and let them get to know the real you, and establish these meaningful relationships, regardless, like you said, Kit, regardless of whether they're an influencer or not, because, perhaps and maybe even more likely, that person who's not an influencer but likes you because of who you are, and you establish, like just a real relationship with, probably in the end, you're going to be better off, and they're going to be better off because you've established a real friendship, a real relationship, a real working, business relationship, if that's what it is. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, I would totally agree, and there does need to be a trust factor. But I think Christine Bowen's Divine Connections is also there. So Copeland and I met on a hangout, and the hangout ended, and everyone got off, and for some reason, we both stayed on. And we talked for like the next 2.5 hours. And like the next morning, we have been texting and talking and everything else ever since. Jessica Jewell is another great example. I met her, we had tea 3 times, and then lunch to company together. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a long length of time. It's being open, honest, transparent, saying scary things that you wouldn't necessarily say to anyone, even though they are a stranger. Just put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Protect yourself. Put yourself out there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't live in fear, right? Especially when you're forming relationships. If you live in fear, then your relationship's going to be based on fear, and it's going to go nowhere. So Copeland, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I am kind of got a funny way of looking at things because I don't really believe in strengths and weaknesses. I believe that your strengths and weaknesses are actually your gifts. And a lot of times that could be the thing that'll connect you. Like something that we look at as a weakness could be something that is actually a strength. It's just a matter of how you look at it. Like some people like to say, I overthink things. But it's not so much that you overthink things. It could be that you're just underfeeling it. Like you have a powerful brain. And we should never never feel bad about anything that's going on with you. You shouldn't feel bad about having a powerful brain as much as it can be annoying at times. Like I talk to a lot of people who just think too much. I'm like, all right, you're a smart person, so this is going to be hard. But I want you to stop thinking. Just relax and feel. You're exactly where you need to be. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing, or else you wouldn't be doing it. The universe just doesn't work like that. So let's say that you believe like you're a type A personality and you need to have everything in order all the time. Get everything in order and then move on. Like don't sit there and beat yourself up and be like, why do I have to be this way? That's just the way that you are. However you are, it's for whatever lessons and whatever journey it is that you have to take in life. You were made perfect at birth. Everything that you have within you is what you're supposed to have within you. So just move on, be like what we were saying earlier, being grateful about it, being gracious for it. The more grateful you are, the more things the universe will show you to be grateful about.
Oh, that's a good point. I think when I said weaknesses, I didn't mean it in a bad way, but more like things that maybe you can work on and can hone that part of your personality. Like I talked to my mom the other day and I said, what do you think is my strength? What do you think is my weakness? And she said, your strength is that you're very creative. You write really well. But your weakness is that you don't have a plan, or you don't have like a direction, a goal. You don't know what you're doing. You're just taking it one day at a time. Which to me is not a weakness, but that's how people perceive you.
Mm-hmm. It's really about the way you look at it. Like and for some people, your strength could be your weakness. Like me, for instance, when I miss planes and stuff like that, that's because I don't really, I'm not really a time person. So, but then there'll be a time where I'll be waiting for somebody. A meeting's supposed to start. Everybody's late, but hey, I'm okay with it. No stress, no nothing. I'm just chilling. And they show up late, and we still have the meeting, because who's to say that something monumental was going to happen at the beginning of that meeting anyway? So anything that you have can really work for you or against you. It's just a matter of how you position yourself to take advantage of your gifts.
Right. I totally agree. I think it's important to understand your strengths and to understand your weaknesses. For example, I can't sing to save my life. Okay? So it's important that I understand that, because no matter how much I practice singing, I don't have that natural ability. my vocal cords, whatever, weren't designed to be a singer. So it's important that I understand that early on and don't focus a lot of effort on singing, because singing's never going to take me anywhere. It just isn't. And the sooner that I realize that consciously, right, the sooner that I understand that and decide not to focus on that, but instead focus on something that, focus on my natural talent and my natural ability and put most of my energy there, right, I'm going to be more successful and will be able to do more for other people. For example, I relate very well, and it's very easy for me to relate to other people. So I think it's important that I concentrate on that, put a lot of effort into that, because it's a strength, because it's something that comes naturally. If I can do that better, how much better can I help people? How much better of a person will I be if I focus on that strength and don't waste my time trying to be a singer or do something with singing, because it's just not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's just a waste of time. People will run and flee from me.
We're going to make you sing today. We're going to make you sing today,
It's not
John.
going to happen.
If singing lights you up, there's no reason you can't do it in your shower or in the privacy of your own car or whatever.
Me.
Exactly right.
Oreo?
You do it on Hangouts, girl. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea why I did that. I'm regretting it. No, but Oreo always looks at me, he cocks his head like this and he looks at me because I'm always like braying or screeching, and he's like, what is this lady doing, but I enjoy music. I mean, I'm not a singer, but I enjoy music, so even if I'm off key, off rhythm, it just makes me happy, so Jim, even if you're a horrible singer, you could make people laugh, so that's actually a strength if you think about it.
They would not. No, they would.
Well,
No.
But if if you love music and you love vocals, then you can get into the music industry. You can be an event planner. You can become a DJ. You can, there are ways around it. So
Yeah.
If
You
there's
don't
an
have to sing, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
There are always
Right.
ways around it. So if music is what lights you up, go for it.
Right. But again, it's understanding your strength. So your strength might not be that you're a singer, right? But your strength could be that you can plan the most awesome and amazing event for somebody who's singing. So focus on what you're really, really good at. Of course, if music is your passion, figure out a way to bring your strength into that environment, right? And still, live vicariously through whatever it is that you really enjoy. But bring your strength to the table, and you do so. You and the people around you will be so much better off if you do that, in my personal humble opinion. So Kit, you've got...
No, we've been having some horrible echo today, and I apologize for that, but I love Carmen's positive spin on it. She says, the echo with a conversation about the universe is resounding the importance in recognizing strengths and weaknesses.
Nicely done, Carmen.
We love her. She's our Get Busy favorite dream audience member.
I like that perspective. Once again, it's just about the way that you look at things. Like, you never know what it is, but yeah, the echo is that's the resounding vastness of the universe. And it's just that our words are so powerful that the universe wants to send them right back to us really quickly so that we can hear them again.
Can I bring up a point quickly to go back to the discussion about the narcissism, that we were talking about like 20 minutes ago. So, personally, like in my culture, for example, I think how you are brought up makes a huge difference too. Like in my culture, thinking about yourself before thinking about your own passion and pursuing your passion, your dream, your goals, is considered disrespectful. So, I mean, even today, like my family has trouble with my career choice that I want to be a writer. They've still not accepted it because it does not fit into their perception, and according to them, I should be doing what kind of makes them happy and makes me happy, and sometimes it's hard to find that sweet spot You know, so how do you get over that cultural aspect and still let people know that, hey, you know what, I love you, but at some point I need to set a boundary here and do what I enjoy doing, because if I don't like myself, I find it really hard to love you. And without being that forthright about it. But you know, how do you deal with that cultural aspect? Because America is a very individualistic culture. You know, it's independent thinking and following your dreams is actually kind of encouraged over here. Whereas in India, it's more about follow the pack. You know, it's not about being a trendsetter. It's more about being the trend follower and do what everyone else is doing, because what they're doing is successful. You know, my cousins are making tons of money. They live in California. They have like mansions and they're doing really great. And I'm sitting here and right now I'm not earning. And I'm like, so the question is, okay, you're not making any money. You're not going anywhere. So what are you doing? How do you deal with, you know, comments like that? Because it's something I battle on a daily basis.
The truth of the matter is that no matter what you're doing, you're always going somewhere. So that statement's always going to be false. If somebody says that you're not going somewhere, like, you're always moving. And especially if you're writing, you're always sharing, you're always building, you're always creating. You're doing the same exact things that the people who created the pyramids of Egypt did. You're building and you're creating something that's going to last past you. So the first thing that you have to do is, like you said, you have to first love yourself. Then you have to love yourself enough to be courageous. Then you have to realize that everybody on the planet that's following somebody else is usually following the wrong person. So you have to look in the mirror and decide that you're going to follow the person in the mirror, which, I mean, you've done. And you have to realize that people thought that Gandhi was crazy. They thought Socrates was crazy. They thought Malcolm X was crazy. They thought, like, they probably thought Atlas was crazy. They probably thought Hercules was crazy. Every single person that is great in the world, everybody thinks they're crazy. It's always that person that veers off of the path that goes towards greatness. Because even when you're following the pack, what most people fail to realize is somebody decided to do that. Then everybody else decided, okay, I don't need to find my way because this person's found a way for me, which is 100% okay, because that's their way. But if you found a way that's completely different, I would encourage you to take that way. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but I mean, that's nature. When a snake is growing, it gets uncomfortable in its skin. Then it's got to like rub against things, create some sort of friction, and then voila, a whole new skin is there because that old skin gets rubbed off. So yeah, your family's not going to be maybe so supportive, but me coming from a Caribbean family as well, it is a lot of times about money. That's what they're thinking about. But if you don't care about that, and I don't care about that, for us to be doing something, chasing money, is probably not going to really be fun or what it is that we want to do. Now, some people will want to follow money a little bit. You want to do, because you need money to get some things done. But as long as in your mind you are who you are, like let's say that you decide to go and get a job as a financial planner or whatever. But as long as while you're financially planning things, you're still a writer, you're still thinking about writing, you're taking this income from financial planning and you're putting it into your writing, then you're going somewhere. Like every single step that you take takes you somewhere. Nobody can take steps and stay exactly where they are. So you're always moving, and don't worry about them. They don't know any better.
It's all about the money. Yes, that's what people mean when they say you're not going anywhere. Is that you're not earning? That's translation. You're not going anywhere. It's just like a euphemism for saying, okay, you're not earning. And sometimes their points, their arguments seem so strong that I start questioning myself, and I'm like, am I really crazy? Am I really doing something worthwhile, or am I just really wasting my time? You know, so there's this conundrum because the forces are so strong, and they're saying things like that, and there are people who've proven them right. So it's really hard to balance your passion with the external noise and not to offend them, at the same time feel good about yourself and do what makes you come alive. You know what I mean?
But I mean, it all goes back to you. So the power of you and who you are. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you lit up? Do you doubt yourself when you are in the zone of doing what you love to do? And I know the answer for you is no, because we've talked about this. So, and then take it to the next level for you in your life. Your husband totally loves you and supports you and is okay. There's no resentment. There's no animosity. Like, he loves you and supports you. So, yay, your immediate family, totally 100% on board. And then we all have the choice to surround ourselves with like 5 people, our inner circle, the true trusted friends that, or family, depends on how you want to incorporate things, that you can go to and ask. And if you're feeling questioning what you're doing or what your passion is or whether you should be doing the 3,000 things that other people are telling you that you are supposed to do, and you ask them, chances are they're totally supporting you anyway. So then you have affirmation that way. So if your inner circle, if your immediate family, and if you all approve of it, that lets you off the hook. So even if other people are saying that you need to go climb Mount Everest tomorrow, even though you haven't trained, but it's what you have to do, you can be like, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your input. I will consider it, and if I can get a flight, I might just do it.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
No one gets to live your life but you. No one else has to live with you or your choices or anything else but you.
See, Jim, that brings back the power of you. I know we're 3 minutes off.
Right. Yeah, it totally brings it back to the power of you. And I know oftentimes there can be a lot of outside pressure, right? And I think maybe it's how you deal with it, right? And whether or not you let it impact you. You know, like we have decisions to make, and once you go down a path, like once you make the conscious decision of this is what I'm going to do, this is going to be my life choice, I have to live my life for me. I can't live it for you or for anybody else. I have to live it for me. This is a decision that I consciously made. I need your support because I'm going to. I think maybe you can say, you know what, I'm going to be successful in this endeavor. Success may not look to you what it looks like to me, but I'm going to be successful in this. I'm going to do it well. I'm going to put all of my effort into doing it well, and I will be successful, whatever success means. So please either support me on this endeavor, or, you know, to be honest, I don't want to hear your negative whatever, right? It's either support me and find a way to take this, you know, go on this journey with me in a positive way, or, you know, I don't want to hear from you anymore. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And that goes back to boundaries.
Yeah.
You're in control. You have the choice. Define your own success and set up whatever boundaries you need to. Your dreams, your passion are your responsibility to nurture and foster and grow. And if you surround yourself with people that don't support that, that's on you too.
Yeah, and I realize it's super hard when it's family and it's culture and it's all of that embedded together. But you know what? You do live here in the United States. Our culture is a little bit more individualistic, and you can just say, you know what? I'm here. I'm doing what people in this country do, and I'm going to give it a shot. And you know, we'll see what happens. But just please support me on my journey.
Yeah, the hard thing is the people who are your naysayers also want to really love you. You know, so it's not like they're bad people or they have your bad interests at heart. It's just that their definition of success and their definition of life is very different. Their perspective of life is very different. You know, so that's the hard part. It's not like they don't care about you or they don't want you to succeed. They want you to succeed. They just want proof of that success. So it's hard to explain that. You know, the career that I'm in right now with writing, it takes time. I mean, it takes persistence, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. And yeah, but so I guess it all comes back to me. So I have to set the boundaries.
Totally. Okay. Well, as we're running out of time, I want to hear from Copeland first, and then Nora on any final thoughts you have today on the power of you, connecting the dots, anything that we've discussed today that really resonates with you, and were there any aha moments for you during the show? So Copeland, we'll start with you.
Well, like I always personally believe in the power of the individual. So for me, like it would just be a nice little message of always believe in yourself. Like if you can conceive a thought, then you can conceive that you can actually achieve that same action. Every single thing that we see around us today, it started out with a thought. So there's no reason why your thoughts can't also be manifested into real things. Like everything that happens, there was a time when it never happened before, or it couldn't happen, and somebody had to do it. Before the Wright brothers, man didn't have any powered flight, but now we do. So all you have to do is really just believe in yourself, follow your path, and as long as you're moving, as long as you're doing something, you're going to get somewhere, and you're going to get to where you're supposed to be. Even if it's not where you believe you're supposed to be, it's going to be where you're supposed to be anyway. So just keep moving and keep following what it is that you believe that you should be doing. Even if it's wrong, mistakes are fine. Mistakes actually, they bring like a variety and joy to life, and they teach you lessons. So just keep on moving forward. If you believe it, roll with it. That's it.
That's great. So, Nora?
I would agree. Make your own path. After listening to this, give yourself permission. Love yourself more. Choose quality. And find really cool people to spend your time with that light you up and that will help make your life more fun.
And drink a lot of wine.
And drink a lot of wine.
Or beer.
Or beer. So, what do you think, Kit? What's your takeaway?
Well, my takeaways, first of all, thank you so much, Nora and Copeland, for coming on our show today. I've been like dying to have you both on my show for like forever. So, I mean, you both mean a lot to me. I mean, I've been kind of nervous throughout the show because like I was texting Nora last night too, because you both mean a lot to me personally. So, really, thank you for being in my life. That's what I'd like to say. I love you.
Yeah. No problem. Nora, I think in closing, something you said, Nora, is really important, and it is like of the utmost importance to surround yourself with people who will lift you up, because sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. I mean, even Copeland, as positive as you are, I'm sure there are times where you just need to hear from, a good friend, a good buddy, a good pick-me-up, right? So there are times when we're down where we need to be lifted up, and there are other times where we're up flying in the clouds, and we need to be in that place so that we can also, bring somebody up who's not right there at that moment. So yeah, I think the importance of the power of you, right, is to be present, be yourself, be in the moment, so that when somebody else needs you to be strong, you can be there for other people, and vice versa.
And accept it when it's being offered to you.
Yeah, totally. So this show was a little bit more zen than we usually are, but you know what? There's a time and a place for everything. And I firmly believe that there's probably somebody out there, and maybe even some of us on the panel here today, that
I just
needed to
had one
have
last thought.
that needed to have a Zen moment. So thank you, Copeland, and thank you, Nora, for bringing the Zen to Get Busy. I sure appreciate that. And go ahead, Kit.
Now, I just want to say one last thought. Don't compare yourself to others. That's something I struggle with on a daily basis, so I'm just telling you, it doesn't get you anywhere. You know, I always ask my dad. My dad is, this is one last anecdote. My dad is a really smart guy. He's the smartest guy I know. But he has smarter friends than him, and who are more like successful in terms of like position and fame and all that. And I always ask him, aren't you jealous of them? I mean, don't you just hate them for being so successful? And he's like, why should I be jealous of them? You know, the very fact that they chose me to be their friends, it's a blessing. And I take that blessing. And I find myself the happiest person on earth because I'm connected to such lovely people. So, you know, surround yourself with the right people and do not compare. You are beautiful, you are unique, and you rock. You sparkle.
Awesome.
Thank you both so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you, Copeland. Thank you, Nora, for being with us today. It was great. I think you guys brought exactly what we needed to hear, and probably certainly some of our audience members needed to hear as well. So again, thanks for another great Get Busy show, and we'll see you back here again next Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
Bye.